Hello, welcome to the Reach Digital Signage Tutorials. Today we're going to focus on just the layout editor itself. Now this tutorial is just going to be a complete overview. It's not going to be any zones created or anything like that, but just sort of an understanding of kind of how this process works. Now the layout editor does involve some CSS and HTML. It's obviously where we build the widgets and then of course style them. Where we actually first start is we bring all of our clients to this Reach template page, which can be found on our website. The reason why we bring our customers here is because obviously it gives them a visual of what the widgets are going to look like. It gives them different style formats for the schedule or the ticker or your social media. And then once we've really established like, okay, they're going to have these 5 widgets, we actually then build them in Photoshop. Now we don't build the widgets in Photoshop, we just build the background. And the reason why we bring it into Photoshop is, well, as a designer, we all want to have, creative freedom. And so it really allows us to have that flexibility to have a unique, good looking branding kind of digital signage display. Now, that does not mean that you need to have Photoshop to build the background. However, again, we like that flexibility. Now, we do create all of our digital signage at a 1920 by 1080, and we actually save them as a PNG file. Chrome itself actually compresses JPEG files, so therefore that's why we want to create them at PNG. So once we've sort of established this sort of, the language we use internally is like this L1 or L2, we then kind of bring it into the layout editor. Now you can see there are some preset templates here. The goal there is obviously to help you guys create stuff on the fly. Below here would just be then your name of your templates. Some people, just to give you an example, of course, they'll have like a master template. Maybe if they're testing out certain widgets, they'll say testing widget. If they have, like live streaming, maybe they'll have something like that. So you can have as many layouts as you would like. And then of course the size, of that particular template. So if you have a video wall or an iPad and a touchscreen, obviously these sizes are going to be different. Over here, we do have some sort of icons here. Of course, I can delete the layout. But one thing just to kind of keep in mind is that if this layout is assigned to any player, you will not be able to delete it. You can edit the content, which will bring you into the back end, which again, we'll dig into in just a sec. And then of course you can copy the layout, and then you can also have access policy. So maybe you want certain people to only have access to certain layouts. That's kind of that little functionality right there. So let's just go ahead and kind of walk through these steps here. So in theory, again, I have this, Photoshop file. It's saved as a PNG. It's ready to go. So now I need to add the widgets on top. So my first steps would actually come up here to create new layout. And of course, I'll give it, a certain name that obviously fits me. So let's just do master layout. And we'll hit next. Now these are just kind of quick setting buttons here. We actually used to create everything at a 1280 by 720, but obviously with players getting better, screen resolution getting higher, we now create everything at a 1920 by 1080. Of course, if you had a video wall size or an iPad, you can adjust the sizes here. So then we'll hit submit close. So really how this works, you guys, it's really 3 steps. The first step is you create a zone. The second step, you add a widget. The third step is you style it. Now, some widgets are a lot easier than others. They involve, less templates, easier to kind of just manage. Some of them, there's a little bit more work to them. So again, in this tutorial, I'm not going to go through all of it, but I will walk through those 3 steps. So the first thing, like I said, is to create a new zone. So we'll go ahead and do that. And then it's asking me what is the name of that particular zone. So we're always going to start at our background and then just kind of layer it up. So I usually always name my zone based on whatever widget it is. If it's sports scores, if it's a ticker, if it's a schedule, whatever that particular widget's going to be. So we'll do background and we'll hit next. Now it's asking what is the size. Well, I actually know exactly what size it is. So it's going to be 1920 by 1080. And then we'll hit submit close. So already step 1 is done. Now you can see if I hover over here, I get the name of that particular zone. I've got some icons here as well, and then up here I have the X, Y, Z index, and then of course the width and height. So the second part was to add the widget, so I'll double click in here. I'll hit add widget, And then you can see there's a series of widgets to choose from. So this is sort of where that kind of learning curve comes. It does take a little bit just to kind of know what widget does what, or if you want this functionality, you know, how do I do that? Which widget do I use? Of course, we would definitely train you guys on this. So we'll just kind of grab one just to kind of finish this little tutorial. So we would hit graphic. Let's just say we're doing our background here. All right, and so now you can see we have certain tabs that are kind of opening up. Some widgets, they have more tabs. This is obviously more of a simpler, kind of easier widget to use. So here I have my graphic. I'd go to graphic setting, and then I would just drag in my PNG file that was created from Photoshop in here. Then at that point, I would start adding more widgets. That's the end of our tutorial today. If you guys want to learn more or even give us, some feedback, we would love to hear it. Feel free to call our support line. Otherwise, I hope you guys have a great day. Thank you.